Hey, this is Logan Decker, Editor-in-Chief of PC Gamer Magazine, and E3 is just around the corner. And today we're going to talk about what this year's E3 means for the PC. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Yeah, I mean, the spotlight, of course, is going to be on the new consoles. I think
Right.
we expect that. We're not saying that cynically. It's just it's their big year. I mean, it's going to be huge in that regard. There's going to be a lot of new games for the consoles. What does that mean for the PC?
This console generation especially, I mean, the stakes are so high.
They're huge.
And it's interesting because there's almost a sense of like pullback I get from Microsoft and Sony. I mean, the hardware isn't what it was in the last console generation, which was, okay, we're going to push this as far as we can. You know, there's no cell processor this time or a motion engine and all that. So I get, this is a signal like, okay, we're not going to win it on that front, so why are we spending so much money, trying to do all that stuff? So I think that you're right. It's going to be like focused on exclusives and, maybe special features like the Kinect and stuff like that. And it's just going to be this tidal wave of noise that PC gamers are going to have to sift through for the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Because it's made push, exclusive this, we got this and that. And you're just going to have to, we're all going to have to just sort of sort it all out until all the hysteria starts.
Right.
You
touched on something interesting in that there's no hardware race in the console space anymore, so now they're trying to sell experiences.
Right.
And many of those experiences that they want to make, Microsoft and Sony want to make, they're trying to exclusive software that, let's be honest, we're going to see on the PC hopefully in the next year, or
right.
Maybe year and a half. So maybe getting to see these new titles as a trial run on the consoles and then have that better experience on the PC is really what we're going to get out of a lot of the news out of this show. The other thing that I find really interesting about this E3 is that E3 as a show is so focused on the business end of video games and the retail space that's going to be available for console games. That space doesn't exist anymore really for the PC.
Right.
Now we're buying games on Steam, we're buying games on Origin, from the publishers and developers themselves. So it really begs the question as to how important this is going to be for the games that we're going to be playing on our platform over the next year to 2 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty within independent development community right now about how the Xbox is going to treat and how Microsoft is going to treat independent developers. Like,
come over to us because we don't have a problem.
Right. I mean, there's this big question about like, will you need a publisher to get published? Can you self-publish
right.
on Xbox One right now? And that's kind of unclear and not looking that bright for them. So I think PC, at least for the next few years, certainly is going to continue just to be the absolute best place, the most freedom available for independent developers. And we're happy to hold that title. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how the PlayStation 4 wants to, help console gamers share content. That's something else that you're already seeing as a thriving space in PC gaming. So I wonder if maybe that will raise the stakes for different video, recording videos of games later on the PC, and if we'll start seeing some things that the hardware manufacturers are doing that we'll have to figure out how to do in the PC space later on. I
would be shocked if Steam especially didn't roll out some kind of video sharing service in the next 2 years, or some sort of integrated live streaming service. I mean, they've kind of done it with... They have some complex video editing tools. There's Steam Filmmaker, I guess. Source Filmmaker, of course. And, integrated replay tool in Team Fortress 2. And they have this, this sort of match viewing feature inside Dota 2. So there's an interest in video within Valve. And I definitely predict that the ubiquity of it, on Xbox, on PlayStation, is going to grow in interest across gaming.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know if we should fear it or embrace it, but like the idea of making Steam more than a distributor, making it a platform, putting video capture services into Steam for games that run on Steam in the way you can take screenshots from any game feels like it's moving toward being a platform. And of course with the Steambox stuff, which has kind of cooled off.
It has.
I really haven't heard much about it.
Unless we hear something at E3.
Unless we hear something at E3 from Valve or a third party saying, here's a box, it has Steam on it, it boots to big picture mode, and it runs games at a good frame rate. That'll be interesting. Because we've talked about this before, but the consoles are PCs now. So Steambox is a direct competitor for, on technical standpoints. So it'll be interesting to see if we hear anything about that. Yeah, but like you guys said, it's going to be through the noise of Microsoft coming in and yelling at the top of its lungs, we have these exclusive games that you'll get nowhere else, and Sony coming in and doing the same thing.
Right.
I have to think a lot of the PC games are going to seem calm and even keel and level-headed compared to a lot of the glitz and glamour you'll see out of Microsoft and Sony.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I guess, you had observed a while ago that, it's been a long time since it's even been considered like a PC event. It's always been...
Well, who's carrying that flag?
Right. Exactly.
Inherently, it's no one.
Right.
Which, we're okay with.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons we like the platform.
Right.
We don't have to go to one press conference and hear, one executive tell us what we get to experience for the next year.
Right.
I think we're going to get a lot of what we've been seeing with something like Destiny or GTA. The great example, GTA 5, where it's going to be coming to next-gen consoles. Oh, PC? No, we're not talking about that. And it's, it's simply because they want to, yes, it is coming to PC, but they want to hype up the consoles and they don't want to show you what it looks like on PC.
Right.
Because they don't want anything, Microsoft and Sony don't want anything that implies that their consoles aren't just better and bigger, better, stronger, faster than anything else you could possibly purchase with your money. So they kind of have, I imagine Respawn is going to be there to announce a new game.
Yeah.
That's the studio formed by the former Infinity Ward guys who, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, Call of Duty, you've probably heard of. They're probably going to announce something, and a wild guess, it might be at Microsoft or Sony's conference, and they might not say PC. But
right.
I would put money down that whatever they're making is coming to PC.
Yeah, if you walk over to their booth later on and ask them about it, they'll happily talk to you about the PC version as well.
Yeah, or they'll say, same thing Rockstar is
Mum's
doing,
the word.
which is just not telling us.
Sure.
One group I think that's going to have a really difficult time cutting through the noise this year are, folks like the Ouya. And like there's also NVIDIA Shield, which I'm, I would love to see it do great things. But, especially when you've got, the PC just doesn't need any promotion. It's always thriving, right? And you've got consoles just full frontal assault with all their features and exclusives. And it kind of almost pains me that, it's just going to overwhelm the folks that are doing Android stuff, which I think is really interesting. And their platforms are open. So it'll be very interesting to me to see what they do to help cut through that noise and go, hey, look, you don't want that lockdown box that's watching you constantly in your living room. Hey, we've got this. You can put whatever you want on it. You can hack it. Go for it.
I almost feel like it sucks for them during that week because they're going to be so drowned out by the noise of the consoles.
Right.
But if they just stay the course and they stay to their messages, you don't have to be the loudest to end up being the best, right?
That's true, right.
So I do think it's going to be harder to find the really big announcements and the big news for games on PC, but they're still going to be there.
Yeah.
And as long as you look for them, it won't be hard to find.
Yeah. And we will be there hunting them down all next week, every single day, all four of us, and some more PC Gamer editors and freelancers. So check out all our content, PCGamer.com, happening next week and beyond. I'm sure we'll have interviews hitting later this month as well. And we'll have another video tomorrow. We're going to dig in a little bit further on how we expect the next generation of consoles to affect PC gaming specifically. Thanks for watching.
Later, Gators.